with the times.
How has been the journey so far?
It's been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, a journey like this is bound to have challenges. There's no way you can bring about such deep transformation and work with systems and structures that are so deeply entrenched. There are systems and structures of exploitation and oppression that's bound to be there, because if they weren't, then slum residents would have come out of their poverty. They wouldn't have been living like that for so many years. So there's a number of challenges. There's so much illiteracy. When I started, the female literacy was only 4%.
Acha.
You can imagine, so you're basically dealing with an illiterate population. There was also the slum mafia there, very strong presence where they're basically not democratically elected. They're just there by their force and their muscle power and their self-styled leadership.
So all these hurdles you have to overcome.
So many hurdles to overcome.
To bring a child out of a slum to the school itself is a challenge.
Yeah, because they don't want to go to school and parents don't want them to go to school because there are more hands, more work, more money. That's really their philosophy. And their understanding of primary education also was not there, because when I started they were basically rummaging in garbage for bits of metal and plastic that they could find, or they were working in roadside stalls or selling newspapers at traffic lights or shining shoes and things like that. So even convincing them, and particularly girls, to send them to school was a very challenging task. But it's been wonderful because we, of course, have a 100% primary enrollment rate at this point in the Asha communities. And, the whole journey, I think that it's really important to have a holistic model because, if you're just working, first of all, it's not good to have palliative, because if you're just going to do Band-Aid, then you're not really bringing about any deep transformation.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And then when it's holistic, then you're changing entire communities. You're not changing just the life of that one child. Because, you're addressing all the major issues. You're addressing infrastructure, you're addressing how women should come into the mainstream from the margins, you're addressing healthcare. I mean, how can a child...
I think health and sanitation, that is... Education, health and sanitation is right of each and every child.
Exactly, absolutely. You said it really well. I mean, but they've been denied those rights for so many years. I wouldn't say that the government hasn't done anything. It's a big problem. The scale of the problem is huge. Governments come and governments go, and different governments try to do different things. But I think that the uniqueness of my approach is the idea that it's holistic. So I'm not just addressing one element of the problem. I'm trying to address all the different elements of the problem.
जैसे आपने बोला you are addressing different elements. So मैं कहीं पढ़ रहा था, I think you are persuading with the banks as well. भी वो इन लोगों को loan ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा दें so that they can move out of the slums और अपने घर बना सकें. जो छत हो वो इनकी अपनी हो. Is that right?
बिल्कुल सही बात है. क्योंकि जब मैंने पहले शुरू किया था और in the early years 90s में, उन दिनों में तो इनके पास बैंक अकाउंट भी नहीं था.
अच्छा.
I mean, बिना बैंक अकाउंट के आप सोच सकते हो कोई इंसान आज की ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी हो सकता है कि किसी का बैंक अकाउंट ना हो. आई मीन दैट इज सच अ रेयर थिंग टू सी.
तो जैसे जैसे हमने बैंक्स को अप्रोच किया तो व्हाट वाज उनका रिएक्शन क्या रहा?
शुरू में तो उनको ये बिलीफ नहीं हुआ कि कोई गरीब somebody from a slum can actually operate in a bank. So I call them financially excluded. They were financially excluded. They were also financially illiterate because they would keep their money at home basically under a mattress and all. So over the from 2008 onwards, I worked with the Ministry of Finance, the Government of India, to institute a special scheme for the urban poor that everyone should have a bank account, and even the urban poor had ATM cards. That was also unheard of. Because they never saw an ATM card, they never knew how to use an ATM machine.
हुआ होता है यार ये
पता नहीं क्या है, मेरा पैसा इसके अंदर घुस जाएगा, निकल इसमें से कैसे निकलेगा, दीवार में से पैसा कैसे निकलेगा. All that was there, very exciting. And then of course loans की बात निकली. Then they have no collaterals because they're living in a slum. But research shows that the poor are much better at repaying loans than many extremely wealthy people. And so it was a lot of work that went into the program. लेकिन आपको पता है, I have been able to help them get loans from all the big public sector banks, Punjab National Bank, State Bank of India, Vijaya Bank, Canara Bank, Syndicate Bank, you name it, all these banks. And इनका repayment rate is 99%.
अच्छा, very.
Can you imagine? 99% repayment rate without collaterals. And they have had home loans for home improvement, for education, studying engineering and other, big programs, and they've had loans to buy transportation, because otherwise they're always on a bicycle. Can you imagine the difference if an electrician had a bicycle versus a motorcycle? How different his life would look. So there's a whole range of reasons for which they've been able to have a very good inroads into the financial systems of our country, into the banking systems of our country.
Dream big, achieve big. Gemco Sydney. Any course, any uni. www.gemcoaustralia.com